Okay, just to clarify before I actually get into the review, the reason why I put prequel to the Saw franchise in the subtitle was because a while ago I heard about that theory that Kevin McAllister actually grew up to become the Jigsaw Killer because of the whole trap thing. And I know I don't actually believe in the theory, but I love how convoluted it sounds and yet how much kind of it makes sense. So I just thought I'd put an homage to that theory in this video. Okay, now we're getting into the review. Home Alone is a 1990 comedy Christmas film that follows Kevin McAllister. His family is going to Paris on vacation, and the night before they leave, he gets into a fight with his older brother, and his mom sends him to his room, and right after she sends him to his room, Kevin remarks to her that he wishes that he wasn't part of the family. The next morning, the family leaves, and because there's so many of them going, it's like at least 11 kids and maybe a group of 20 people, including the adults. They leave Kevin behind, and he actually believes that he wished his family to disappear, and his dreams came true. So at first he relishes on the fact that he is home alone, but then soon he has to contend with two burglars. Every performance in this movie is done really well, but the standouts are for Kevin, Marv, and Harry. And let's start with Kevin first. Kevin McAllister is played by Macaulay Culkin. He made Kevin the childhood hero of a generation and gives one of the best child performances ever seen on film. And I would actually argue that Kevin McAllister is the best written child character ever put to screen or stage or whatever. I would actually say that. He was the right amount of over-the-top and normal kid, but he's extremely intelligent, creative, and wise compared to others of his age. And then we have the Wet Bandits, Marv and Harry, who are both played respectively by Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern. Once I got older, I had seen Pesci in Goodfellas, Raging Bull, and even My Cousin Vinny, which is actually one of my favorite movies of his. And Home Alone was a hell of a departure from him now looking back at all of that, especially since he hadn't done My Cousin Vinny yet. I don't think by that point he had really done much comedy, if any comedy at all. So he's really entertaining in this movie. And then Daniel Stern is perfect as Marv, a role that he was born for, and no one else can really play him as well. He has been played once by some other guy in one of the really, like, kind of spin-off, but also sequels that wasn't really good. And each time I watched him, I thought, I bet Daniel Stern would do that better. The movie showcases how it feels to be a kid around Kevin's age, because he's around 8 or 9 in this movie. And we've all had times where we felt like the entire family was out to get us. And we've all had those times where we hated our parents or our siblings for either short, long periods of time and wished that we didn't have a family. There's also this old man character who is set up as a creepy and scary character just because of what the kids say about him in the movie, but then is later shown to be a really sweet old man, and later in the film, when he's revealed who he is, he really serves a pivotal role, even if at first it doesn't seem like it. Because he tells Kevin a bit of his backstory about a falling out that he had with his son over some really stupid thing. And then Kevin realizes, just by giving him some advice on how to go about it, he realizes just how much he misses his family. And then, like I said, the old man talking to him helps Kevin figure this out. And it's a great message for kids to take from the movie about how you may not like your family sometimes, but you'll sure as hell miss them when they're gone. This is also an extremely funny movie, and I'm not just talking about the slapstick antics that are in the third act, but an amazing third act, I might add. But I'm also talking about just situations in general. The situations are hilarious, like Kevin stealing a Playboy from his brother's room, his initial reactions to the old man across the street, and then even the supermarket scene, which shows just how clever Kevin is, and just... the scene has the best comeback that I've ever seen a child give in a film. And speaking of the dialogue, it's snappy, quick, and extremely memorable. I wish that I could actually do impressions of most of them, but there's way too many memorable ones to name, and also I'm sure a lot of other people on YouTube have done it over and over again, so I'm not really gonna repeat that. However, I will say that even if I'm in the worst mood during this movie, I will always be able to lighten up when I hear Kevin's older brother say, "I wouldn't let you sleep in my room if you were growing on my ass." And the editing in this film is perfect, just helping set up all of these hilarious moments, including giving us some of the most iconic scenes in modern cinema. Or scratch that. And the editing in this film, I believe, is perfect. It helps set up the most hilarious scenes, and I would even argue to say that it gave us some of the most recognizable and most iconic shots in cinema, or modern cinema at least. And I won't even say if I think that the score is good or bad. I'm only gonna say 2 words, and then that should tell you exactly what I think of it. John Williams. I am going to give the first Home Alone film 5 reels. Thank you guys so much for joining me for another of my Christmas series. I will actually be doing the sequel to Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, very soon, so keep a lookout for that. And, you know, just as I always say, please subscribe if you haven't already for more reviews and content. And also, farewell until the next video, and Merry Christmas.